President Trump's comments on possibly sending the National Guard to New Orleans instead of Chicago. I'll craft it in a clear, new-style format with context, background, and implications. Trump weighs sending National Guard to New Orleans instead of Chicago. President Donald Trump has suggested that his administration may deploy National Guard troops to New Orleans as part of his ongoing crime crackdown, shifting attention away from Chicago, a city he has frequently criticized. The remarks, delivered on September 3 from the Oval Office, signaled a potential change in strategy as the president seeks cooperation from state leaders in addressing violent crime. For months, Trump has threatened to send federal forces into Chicago, the nation's third-largest city, citing persistent crime rates and what he views as a lack of effective leadership by local and state officials. On September 2, he even declared, "We're going in," suggesting imminent action. However, the following day he struck a different tone, stating that his administration was still making a determination and considering New Orleans as an alternative. The distinction lies largely in politics. Illinois is led by Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker, who has openly opposed Trump's threats, accusing him of testing his power rather than pursuing genuine solutions. In contrast, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry, a Republican, has expressed willingness to cooperate. Shortly after Trump's comments, Landry posted on social media, "We will take President at real Donald Trump's help from New Orleans to Shreveport," signaling support for federal involvement. Trump made his position clear. Chicago would only see National Guard assistance if its leadership asked for it. Chicago might be made right. "They just need to ask us," he said. Yet he also expressed frustration with Pritzker, calling him incompetent and unwilling to put public safety above politics. The situation highlights the unusual balance of power between federal and state governments when it comes to deploying the National Guard. While governors usually control mobilizations in their states, Trump has direct authority in Washington, D.C., where more than 2,200 Guard members have already been patrolling the streets as part of the current crackdown. That deployment began in mid-August under an executive order instructing Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to coordinate with governors about whether localities need federal support. Both Chicago and New Orleans are grappling with serious crime problems. According to statistics compiled by Freedom for All Americans, New Orleans holds the nation's third-highest homicide rate in 2025, while Chicago ranks 10th. Washington, D.C., sits further down the list at 19th. These numbers give Trump ammunition in his argument that sending the National Guard could provide much-needed relief. Still, critics argue the move risks politicizing law enforcement. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, like his predecessor Lori Lightfoot, has resisted federal intervention, arguing that community-driven solutions are more effective than military presence. Similarly, New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell, also a Democrat, has not formally requested federal troops, raising questions about how such a deployment might unfold if the governor supports it but the mayor does not. Trump's shift in tone also reflects legal and political realities. Just a day before his September 3 remarks, a federal judge in California ruled that Trump's prior use of National Guard forces during protests in Los Angeles violated federal law, which prohibits the military from enforcing domestic laws. Although the ruling was narrowly applied and did not force the withdrawal of remaining troops in Los Angeles, it underscored the legal limits of presidential authority in such matters. In his more measured September 3 comments, Trump suggested that he would wait until cities formally requested assistance before acting. "I think we are pretty much waiting until we are asked," he said, though he added that residents in cities like Chicago and Baltimore want to see us there. This represented a softer approach compared to his earlier vow to deploy troops regardless of local consent. Beyond Chicago and New Orleans, Trump has floated other cities as potential targets for his crime initiative, including New York City, Los Angeles, Oakland, and Baltimore. Yet he indicated that cooperation from state leaders would be a key factor in deciding where to send forces. Republican-led states such as Louisiana may therefore be more likely to receive federal support than Democratic-led ones, despite similar crime challenges. The political implications are significant. By signaling a willingness to work with governors like Jeff Landry, Trump is positioning himself as responsive to local leadership, while simultaneously painting Democratic governors as obstacles to public safety. At the same time, the debate underscores the deep divide in how Republicans and Democrats view federal involvement in local crime issues. As the president weighs his next steps, both Chicago and New Orleans remain under the national spotlight. Whether Trump ultimately follows through on sending the National Guard to Louisiana, or continues pressuring Illinois to request assistance, the controversy ensures that the fight over crime, and the role of federal authority in addressing it, will remain a central issue in the months ahead.